Welcome to tonight's May 19th Select Board meeting. If we could start off by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will be taking a couple items out of order tonight. Also, for anybody that's here, can you just do me a favor and please silence your cell phones if you haven't done that already? Thank you. Announcements and opening remarks from the chair. I don't have any opening remarks, but anybody on the board that would like to say something, please feel free.
I would just like to give a shout out to the Ware JV girls softball team. They finished this season undefeated, so that's a great accomplishment.
Mr. Willett.
I'd like to recognize the work of Chief Crevier, the Ware Police Department, our area mutual aid partners for conducting what appeared to a novice to be a pretty sizable drug bust here in Ware. You know, it's troubling as a select board member when you see the comments on the social media after the success of that event is posted. And by success, I mean the police intervened, they arrested 5 individuals, they were charged with substantial crime, all but one were being held on bond to go to trial and go through the justice system, and that's a net benefit for our town. But it's really troubling when you see the comments on social media from some folks in town, but also from some folks out of town, just perpetuating the belief that Ware is a place that, I don't know what the correct wording is from my perspective, but they're not being very complimentary about Ware, its residents, and the efforts we're undertaking as a community to build a community that people are proud to live in and happy to live in and providing for their safety. So when the chief and his team go out there and eradicate this problem and prevent that from being further of an intrusion into our town, I think that's great. But Mr. Chair, if I might at this opportunity, I'd like to, through you, ask, would the board like to invite the chief in to talk about what can we do as a town to disincentivize people who engage in those types of behaviors from wanting to move into town? There is the police aspect of it, of investigating and then detaining, arresting, and sending to justice. But what's happened? Is it our housing stock? Is it the way we provide a level of service? Is there something we're missing? What does he know from his experience and from best practices that maybe we as a town could be putting some attention to help him and his troops in minimizing from being a bigger problem in town that repeats this kind of, because in the past 3 years, how many times have we seen these types of drug busts go down? And they're always a regional task force with mutual aid. It's always very typically multiple individuals, very typically manufacturing and distributing. So what can we do as a board, but more importantly as a community, to support the chief to try and work better so that those types of individuals don't want to come to Ware, they don't seek a foothold in Ware? And I put that question to you for further consideration.
Can we talk with Chief and see if he can come to, if not the next select board meeting, the following one after that, what we can do with his schedule?
Certainly.
Excellent. Thank you, Ken. Mr. Desmond, Mr. Hawk, do you have anything?
I do.
Go ahead.
As some may know, I had a medical emergency on Thursday at my house, and I want to give kudos to the Ware Fire Department and the paramedics in town. I think that a lot of people don't realize how crucial our paramedics and the fire department provide service here in town. And they were at my house within 2 minutes, and thank God for that, because I was able to get the assistance and brought them Wynn and Palmer, and thank God for the fire department we have and the paramedics that we do have, and if anyone has, if they're feeling ill or not feeling well, don't hesitate to call 911, because with the services we do have here in town, the paramedics are there in a drop of a hat, so don't ever hesitate to call 911 if you're not feeling well or you know someone else you're living with isn't feeling good. So kudos to the Ware Fire Department.
All right,
That's
thank
all I'm
you.
gonna say.
John, do you have anything?
Well, my pet peeves has been housing, and we've had a lot of homes that were really in bad shape, and we're seeing quite a bit of these homes being refurbished and being brought up to a much better standard. And I think, again, when people come into town and they look and you see homes that are dilapidated, shutters torn down, empty homes, and that's not very good. But I think the idea of with the building department moving toward getting these homes that were in bad shape brought up to standard, and it's happening. So maybe we could also have the building inspector from time to time give an update on number of buildings down and how many have been refurbished.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move to comments and concerns of citizens. Please keep in mind you will have 3 minutes. I will be timing it to ask your questions. Everything that you are doing is to be addressed through the board and the board only. Anything else like that, we will then further have that discussion. But keep everything respectful. Again, please, you'll raise your hand. I'll call you out. Everyone will have a chance to speak, but your time is 3 minutes to speak. Cynthia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. My name is Cynthia Allen from Crescent Street in Ware. Couple of quick comments and update on the complaint that we talked about last week about the missing meeting minutes. KP Law's response was so confusing. It was really difficult to comprehend in the meeting, talking about untimely complaints when currently there's missing meeting minutes. So it was pretty interesting. It was like they were intentionally trying to invalidate a valid complaint, which is rather unproductive. But anyway, so yes, 14 days to submit a response from the town to open government. And I did talk with them recently, and there is 30 days to resolve the complaint with the town, and it stays logged on their system, and then it just automatically gets resolved. And so if a promise is made and you're going to do something, and then if within so much time it can just be reopened. So that's good. So a lot of these can simply just get talked about and then resolved quickly, and then we can just move on. And the goal is just to get these things trying to fix problems. And regarding the meeting minutes, I'm sure a lot of you would find it beneficial to have access to these meeting minutes. Right now we've got all these budget problems. Recently I saw a capital planning committee meeting, so I went on the site trying to find the meeting minutes, and I don't think they're even listed on the page. And then I went over to the finance committee, and they haven't had any meeting minutes posted since September of '25. So, we could all use access to these meeting minutes. So I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Yeah,
So to resolve that, a quick fix for these meeting minutes is simply, I would think, sending a copy of a letter that goes out to the committees, asking them to add a new protocol that when they're approving meeting minutes, that they're looking to make sure that the past meeting minutes have gotten posted, and just try to get everything updated. So just a simple copy of an email that goes out, and I think there's only 6 days left to meet that 30 days, and then I can tell them that the situation's resolved.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Ann.
Good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for the time. I just wanted to In addition to what Mr. Hawk had mentioned, we've used the services from the local paramedics as well and had excellent care. So I completely agree with what Stephen said and would encourage folks to never be hesitant to use those services as they are needed. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I wanted to put out some kudos to our Senior Center Director, Janine Lease. We've used her services over the past couple of years, and she's just flat out been phenomenal. She's been a great resource, a good source of information, very supportive, very available. I just wanted to make sure that you folks knew that the Senior Center Director that we have here in Ware is doing a fabulous job.
Thank you for that update. That's nice to hear. Anyone else? All right, having none. We do not have anything on the consent agenda. There is no resignation and appointments listed. So this is where we're going to take something out of order. We have under scheduled appearances. We are going to have a joint meeting with the Finance Committee and Town Moderator to review and recommend warrant articles for special and annual town meeting warrant for June 8th of 2026.
No, you sit there.
Good evening.
This was made for someone taller than me. Well,
Do you want to take share?
I'll figure it out. I think so. Encyclopedias.
You want the chair that's got the adjustable height?
I'll survive it. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just start out with the same little mini spiel that I give each time that we do this, and that is, the purpose of this is to review the warrant and the articles contained within the warrant with proposed motions, including quantities of money that may be included in the motion. It is not intended to be a mini town meeting. It is intended really to just have the opportunity for Finance Committee, Town Manager, Board, and honestly for me, who's going to have to oversee and facilitate the meeting, to just get an idea of what it is that we'll be addressing at the town meeting, and if there are any articles or potential issues that could arise that I might need to do more research on, or that, you know, maybe language needs to be cleaned up or something like that. So I typically don't go through reading all the detail of all the warrant articles, but I will just introduce them as they appear on the warrant, and then seek the opinion or the vote of the Select Board, the Finance Committee, and the Town Manager, and any other committees that might be relevant to a particular warrant article. Okay?
Yep.
Questions? All right, let's begin. For fiscal year 2026, Article 1 is, I move that the town appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money to pay unpaid bills from prior fiscal years. And we have one item, Angie's Transportation LLC, for the total of $6,460. And to fund these bills from the following fiscal 26 account, the school department transportation, for the total of $6,460. Provides funding to pay last fiscal year invoices. There are 3 invoices from the school department for transporting school choice students during April and May of 2025. Anything to be said on Article 1? Questions?
Stuart, do we need to record our votes of support tonight so it will appear in the packet? Because after tonight,
Yeah.
what we vote then goes into the packet that's
Yes.
printed to go to the public, right?
Yes, I will say that the capital planning committee is still pending,
So we still have to add that, but other than that,
Yeah,
yes.
because this is kind of our last meeting before town meeting, isn't it?
There's a June
One more.
2nd, but.
But yeah, I think we should vote them tonight, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the packet should be way before that.
Yeah, we'll all vote, we'll record that, and then that'll be presented into the packet
Okay.
at town meeting.
So we call for the vote on that?
Yep.
Okay.
So, select board, all in favor of supporting this? Say
Aye.
I,
Aye, that's 5. Finance committee?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, 3. Town manager.
Yes.
Okay.
Article 2, I move that the town amend or adjust any of the line items of the fiscal year 2026 town budget and to fund these amendments by transferring funds from available free cash. Account number 423, snow and ice, for the amount of $60,200. Well, that's not a surprise. 123-5200, town manager purchase of services, $2,000. 151-5200, legal purchase of services, $35,000 for a total of $97,200. The explanation is that this article provides funding to budgets that are anticipated to have a shortfall for the current fiscal year. And the current fiscal year ends on June 30th, right? Select Board?
Aye.
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 I,
Finance Committee?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Manager?
Yes, just want to make a comment that before we spend free cash, we will try to transfer from departments that have surplus, so this whole amount won't be from free cash.
Okay.
And that'll be, the article will be amended to show where the transfers are coming from?
Yes,
The
Okay.
packet will be, right?
the packet.
And then it'll have to appear in the motion too, so. Article 3, I move that the town transfer $379,547 from available free cash to fund the other post-employment benefits liability trust fund. The explanation is that per the town's fiscal reserve policies, 15% of free cash is transferred annually to this OPEB fund, and that is used for future insurance costs. Anything to be said on this? If not, Select Board,
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Finance Committee,
Aye.
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 Town Manager.
Yes.
Article 4, I move that the town transfer $583,265 from available free cash to the stabilization fund. This funding is comprised of the 5% requirement per the fiscal reserve policies, plus restoring the stabilization fund from past town meeting appropriations. Oh, that's right, that's from like what we did in the earlier. Anything to be said, any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Stuart, can you provide what is the amount that's going to repay the prior town meeting authorization, and what is the amount that is being taken for the 5% requirement?
The 5% requirement, I'll go backwards. The 5% requirement is $126,515.
Okay.
And that should leave $456,750 that was previously appropriated.
So question, would it be appropriate to reflect that in the motion, in the article, so that we know that's the sum, but we know what the split is between the two? One is required by policy, one is to reimburse previous expenditures.
I don't think you need to put it in the motion, but you can put it in the explanation. Yeah.
Okay, in the explanation, that'd be great. Thank you.
And does the reverse require 2/3 or is it a majority? Just when we
To put in is.
put
To
stabilization,
put in,
it's
it's,
2/3, but to replenish is not. Is it a majority?
you're still putting in.
Yeah.
But we're not taking it from stabilization. That's when it requires 2/3.
Yeah, no, it doesn't require 2/3. It's a
To go
simple
back.
majority, yeah.
So this article is a simple majority?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Select Board?
Aye.
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 I,
Finance Committee,
Aye.
Aye.
and Town Manager.
Yes.
Article 5, I move that the town transfer $126,515 from available free cash to the Capital Stabilization Fund. This funding is comprised of the 5% requirement per the fiscal reserve policy. Any questions, comments? Not, Select Board,
Aye.
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 Yes.
Finance Committee,
Yes.
Yep.
Town Manager.
Yeah.
Okay, Articles 6 through 15 is the consent agenda. And I'm not going to go through every single one of these. But these are basically the general housekeeping, tend not to be controversial articles that are just routine, however, necessary that we vote on them at annual town meeting. They include accepting reports of boards, committees, that the town authorized the treasurer collector to enter into compensating balance agreements, that the town accept grant funds, educational grants, etc. I do have one question, though, before we move forward on this, and that is Article 12. Article 12 has always been a routine article, and that is that we've typically had to borrow in anticipation of reimbursement by the Mass Highway under Chapter 90. There's a comment here that says the article is no longer necessary, that the Chapter 90 state appropriation total is $905,966. Does that mean that we already know in advance, so we don't have to borrow in anticipation?
So, the reason the note's there is we've never borrowed. The article has always authorized the borrowing.
Right,
We've never.
but you've
the
never
treasurer's
exercised
The
it?
treasurer has never had to do it.
Okay,
If it's more comfortable, we can go back to the authorization and put the number in. It just, we don't use it as a borrowing article in reality.
well, what I can say is that by having the language in there as potentially borrowing, that increases the required quantum of the vote for the consent agenda to 2/3. So if you just make it as, appropriating or accepting the anticipated $905,966, then we don't need a quantum of, because if we're not going to be borrowing, we don't need the 2/3.
Right. We could actually word it like the other grant ones that we're
Yes.
accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Stuart, a question on that, if I might, Madam Moderator? With that appearing as a town meeting article and being voted in the affirmative with an exact dollar amount on it, is that going to be weigh against us if we go for any kind of bonding, or they do a review and they look to see what we authorized for debt? And that would be an authorization, or do they actually, can they get down to the details and say, yeah, it was authorized but never used, and thus it doesn't appear against us, if you will?
It isn't, for example, for the borrowing tonight, it doesn't not, and it has not in the past shown up as an authorization to borrow.
Okay,
So I don't think the borrowing companies pick up on that one.
Okay.
Chapter 90.
all right, thank you.
Okay. Article 13 is to establish spending limits for the revolving funds. Again, that has become a routine article of fixing the salaries of elected officers. And that's it, right? 14 is the last one. Let me see. No, 15. 15, transfer 50,000 from free cash to fund the employee compensated absences reserve fund. Just make sure you insert the term transfer. It's missing in the, when you do the motion. Any other comments or questions on the consent agenda? No? I was just looking at you, Stuart, you kind of had a face on, so
Nope.
just wondering. Okay, select board?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Everybody said yes, okay. And finance committee
Yes.
Yes.
and town manager?
Yes.
I'm sitting here flipping, trying to find where
There's none.
the grid is.
The
It
grid
is
for
in
the
here.
consent agenda.
Okay. Okay. Article 16 is, I move that the following sums be appropriated for the water enterprise during fiscal 2027. That is salaries, operating expenses, capital, budgeted surplus to a separate reserve fund, for a total of $1,193,500 to be raised from department receipts to meet said appropriation. Is there any planned? Yeah, because I'm looking in the explanation here, and it says that potentially we could be adding money in from capital planning someplace for hydrant replacement, or will it all still come out of the
Yes.
department receipts?
It still comes out of department receipts, it's for capital.
Okay, so maybe kind of fix that, because I don't know, maybe I'm the only one confused, but,
So,
Oh, yeah.
Ken,
I
did
see.
you?
yeah, so to your question, Madam Moderator, I was going to ask the same question, Stuart, under that explanation.
There, I feel perfect.
The adoption of water enterprise budget, the proposed budget is, so should that number be 1,193,500 for the proposed budget, including an addition to the reserve fund of an amount?
12,500.
Well, it's listed up here, 12,575, right?
Okay, that's budgeted 12,575, got it?
Oh, and then the 100,000 for capital?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that last part is not necessary.
Right,
Yeah, the explanation?
yeah.
No, the third blank space, that's not necessary.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's also explained above in the grid anyway, but,
Yeah. But I'll write a better explanation.
okay. Anything else? Select board?
Aye.
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 Okay. Finance committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Town manager?
Yes.
Article 17, this is a similar article. I move that the following sums be appropriated for the sewer enterprise fund. That includes capital, operating expenses, salaries, and surplus to the reserve account. And that $1,266,000 be raised from department receipts to meet said appropriation.
So, Madam Moderator, a question on the wording.
Yeah.
And Story, if you can, on Article 16, we use the term capital planning for hydrant replacement. And on Article 17, we use the term capital improvement. Now, I imagine
So,
is there,
Except that there's zero in the grid for
so
this one.
the language, my mistake, is left over from last year.
Mhm.
Both phrases at the end of both articles do not need to mention the capital.
okay, great.
Okay. Anything else? If not, select board?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 5.
Okay. Finance committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Kim.
Kenny?
Aye.
Town manager?
Yeah.
Was it something that if you said no on the finance committee stuff? 'Cause as soon as you said yes to that, I already know to mark you out now.
Article 18 is that's the budget, right? Total town budget.
And so,
And
I'll say no.
when we do this, I'll go through and read the total for the individual budgets, and what I'll be reading is what the town manager recommends, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I mean, I don't feel like we have to go through all of this tonight individually unless there are specific questions about it. Okay.
But do we have the numbers for Article 18? Or are those still in progress?
Still in progress, depending on how comfortable we are with the free cash spending. So right now, this would be
Looks like it's 40,622,000.
correct, but so, yes, thank you, Madam Moderator. So the 40,622,000, the
374.
balance, so there's 200,000 from the ambulance reserve, 100,000 from the road repair stabilization fund, and 968,000 of free cash,
Whoa.
which includes 328,000 of capital.
So that's the small capital and the free cash subsidy.
Okay, and what's the small capital amount, Stuart, 300 and?
328. Oh, sorry, you're Stuart.
You're ahead of me, so go ahead. And then bad use of free cash is 640,000 at the moment.
Is that,
I'm sorry, what was that? You just said about 640,000 from free cash?
Yes.
For where?
So in the article, it'll be 640,000 for operations plus 328,000 for small capital.
Okay.
and what percentage is that of our free cash? Is that the full 35% we can by policy use, or is it less?
So in
The
total,
640.
the 640 is less than the allowed 885,000.
Okay.
If I could, just for a commentary to the select board, because working with Richard and Mitch and Stuart and Kim on the budget and having this discussion and seeing that number of free cash being applied to the budget should really get our attention. Because this is the same as if we were at home trying to balance our budget and that we had to reach into our secret rainy day reserve fund to begin paying our monthly bills, which you can only do that for so long, and then you run out of money. I'm not saying that we're in danger of running out of money, but in terms of fiscal policy and how we manage our money, I think this has not happened in our budget process for, is it 11 years, Stuart?
13.
13 years. We have not had to use free cash to fund operations in 13 years. And that's right after Stuart assumed his role as town manager and worked on instituting our financial policies and basically has worked to prevent this from happening. But this year, with this recommended budget, we have no other place to go for this funding. And that should be something the board, while the finance committee works to work out the details, the board has to pay attention to that. What does that mean for our financial future, and be attentive to it? Did I say that right, Stuart?
Perfect.
What is the percentage that you're allowed to use of free cash to pay for day-to-day bills like this?
Our fiscal policy is 35%.
Okay, doesn't the state have a recommendation on the percentage? Is it?
It's zero. The best recommendation is
Zero.
don't spend one-time funds on operating budgets.
Correct, okay.
This is our fiscal policy, which allows us to mathematically budget for it, but again, it won't last.
Yeah, okay.
And to that question, is it the town of, one of the Brookfields was just told by the state they cannot use free cash to balance their budget?
After their override failed, correct.
And they had been doing it for years, and the state stepped in and said, no,
Right.
you may want to use your free cash, but you cannot use your free cash. So they have to go back and make further cuts in their budget. So,
The only reason why I asked is another neighboring town to us for a while was using free cash to supplement their budget. And I don't know if they had the same talking to, but I know that kind of abruptly stopped, or they reduced the percentage of the free cash on it. So that's all I just wanted to make sure that we weren't constantly, I don't want to go back to the well.
The town of Ware used free cash for years and years to offset the budget.
Yeah.
And to your point, I remember that right after Stewart came, he brought up the, at that time, unpopular view that we shouldn't be using free cash for that purpose. So, and we had to figure it out.
Which raises the question, what's been happening with free cash in that instance? It's been funding our capital projects. It's been
Yes.
buying police cruisers, fire trucks, building repairs, school roofs, school chillers, funding parks improvements, purchase of property to maintain open space, town hall improvements. It's been funding a tremendous amount of our needs. So,
So when we use it
Yeah.
as a subsidy to the budget, we're denying it for other future needs. And the challenge is that our revenues are exceeded by not profligate spending, but by dramatic increases in health insurance and in other kinds of programs that you're seeing in every town across the state. Boston just announced they're taking $70 million from their rainy day fund to balance their budget, which is more than they've ever used before. And every town around us is running into the same thing, whether they're seeking overrides or not. So
yeah.
it's a sign, this is not a one-year thing.
Right.
It's going to be worse next year, and it's going to be worse in the years following, unless suddenly there's a grand flow of money into the state coffers, and there's a big increase in unrestricted local aid, or further increases in Chapter 70 money for the schools. When you put that with Prop 2.5 limits and the need to be responsible stewards of the taxpayers' money, we face some significant challenges that we're getting by this year, but it's going to be harder every year ahead of us.
With that, Hadley, that's voting tonight for tax override. What town is it tonight? They're going to the voting
Oh, they're having the override vote tonight?
tonight.
Yeah, those aren't doing very well.
No.
What is it?
We don't need to do that this year.
No.
So
And hopefully we won't need to next year, and
what is it?
it'd be great to never have to need to, do it, but we've got to
Yeah.
work through our challenges and what we have available and the services we provide and see where we end up.
Yeah.
Okay, should we call for votes on this one? Select Board,
Aye.
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 There's 5.
Finance Committee,
Aye.
Aye.
and Town Manager.
Yes.
Article 19, I move that the town amend the Town of Ware Home Rule Charter by adopting the revisions as recommended by the Charter Review Committee and as on file with the town clerk. This is another pass at hopefully successfully explaining to folks that this reflects current practices of management, updates regulations, and eliminates obsolete information in the charter.
We really hammered this one out. I mean, the board, I'm gonna say the committee as a whole, Rick, make sure I'm not saying this right, but every one of us didn't leave that room until everybody that was happy. We didn't go,
Agreed.
well, majority here. We went 100%, everybody had to be happy before we left that room. So,
Well, I applaud your efforts, thank you.
Couple of hours of happiness achieving.
there was a lot of thinking, a lot of head scratching, but we did everything that we possibly could to make the small wording that some people thought was this or that. We really hammered out every single issue that anyone saw, right down to basically, is this a comma? Should this be a period? Does it say this? What title? So the committee did a great job.
I was just gonna say, the committee has done a really exceptionally great job on this, and it has not been easy, and it's been fraught with.
It's been a long time, so seeing this finally close our
Let's
book,
pass this and not do it for another few years.
Yeah,
I would have liked that.
what do we have in there? 7 to be exact, I think. So, anything to be said on this? Not Select Board
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
and Finance Committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Town Manager?
Yeah.
And I assume the Charter Review Committee said
Unanimous.
yes.
It was unanimous. I know I'm aye.
Okay.
I'm aye.
Article 20, I move that the town authorize the select board to petition the general court for a special act authorizing the local licensing authority to issue one off-premises all alcohol license. This would allow one additional ABCC off-premises all alcohol license to be added to the town's allowed quota set by the state for a retail store to sell all alcohol products. We need another place to sell alcohol.
Yeah.
Anything to be said?
Just that this is, and Stuart, again, correct me if I'm saying this correctly, was initiated by a existing business in town that wants to expand its offering of alcoholic beverages to include spirits, because they are trying to make a go of it in town and finding it's a challenge. So,
They're local people.
Yep.
You know, they live in town, they pay taxes, their kids play sports in towns. This is a great family. They have fought so hard to get this business up and running. I've had talks with them 2 years ago. So this is such an important thing to give this business, this family, this opportunity to continue serving and giving the people, you know, the spirits, the wines, everything that they've offered for. They put their heart and soul into this
really do.
business.
yeah.
So I'm a yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, Finance Committee,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Town Manager.
Yes.
Article 21, I move that the town transfer $12,500 from available free cash to support the purchase. You know what, can I just go back to one thing? Stuart, perhaps it would be helpful to add a little bit of that explanation to the existing language there
Is there
for the packet.
is there a reason we can't identify
Right.
the company, the business?
No.
Anything wants to do right now.
Oh,
But
that-
you can
that's-
still put
that's their
in-
Yeah,
You can still put in a little bit.
an existing local business, we're not
Right.
setting up a new liquor
Right,
store. in town.
right. Thanks, sorry. I move that the town transfer $12,500 from available free cash to support the purchase of an agriculture preservation restriction for conservation purposes at the Latender Farm, consisting of 78 acres. I'm jumping over some parts, but the explanation, this would allow the town to assist the Commonwealth in the protection of the Latender Farm along Belchertown Road and Babcock Tavern Road through the purchase of an agricultural preservation restriction. I suspect that, you know, this is one of those that could raise 35 minutes of questions or nothing at all. So we probably want to beef up a little bit of the explanation in this as to why we want to spend this money.
Because we're not acquiring, this is not a land acquisition, this is
Restricted.
a restricted, so that it remains an agricultural property in perpetuity.
Yes.
Okay, any other?
So the town basically is paying out $12,500 to give to them so that this will never leave agriculture.
So the 12,500 is 5% of the appraised cost. The state picks up the other
Okay.
95%. The APR program requires a local commitment.
That's also important to put in the explanation.
Yeah.
95% from the state is a big deal.
Okay. Anything else? Select Board,
Aye.
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 Finance Committee,
Aye.
Aye.
Town Manager,
Yes.
and Conservation, have they voted on?
They
it?
have one.
Okay. Article 22, I move that the town transfer some money from road stabilization for the cost, for the design, repair, and rehab of the Muddy Brook Bridge located on North Street.
So because of some money, I'm gonna recommend well, at least tonight, that it be dismissed, because we do not have the engineer's estimate that we can ask town meeting.
Okay.
So that may be a fall item. However, I do, assuming the original cost about $300,000 is an estimate, do want to point out that the stabilization that the town set up with the marijuana money could be used for this. There's about $300,000 in that account right now.
Okay.
But dismiss, sorry.
Okay. So we're going to recommend dismissal on that one. Bring it up at a later town meeting. Do we need to vote by everybody on that, or just? No. Okay. I move that the town, Article 23, I move that the town transfer $40,000 from available free cash for the design and engineering of a replacement garage and office at Aspen Grove Cemetery. This replaces an existing garage and office at Aspen Grove Cemetery with a structure to accommodate the office and cemetery needs.
The building is both currently old and too small to house all the equipment. It's tight. So cemetery commission is looking to replace it. This is just for the design.
Not the construction.
Nothing.
Go ahead.
Is there any money from the cemetery operations, from the perpetual care paid for the maintenance of graves, or any of those accounts or trust funds that would be able to contribute to this at some point?
I don't know that answer.
I mean, for this is not that great amount, but when we go for the construction.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, construction-wise, hopefully that they have
Yeah.
something that they can kick in.
Anything else?
Nope.
Select board,
Yes.
Aye.
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 finance committee,
Yes.
Yes.
town manager,
Yes.
and you said capital planning hasn't met yet? Okay. Article 24 is also an amount of money for the engineering, design, repair, rehab, or replacement of the Hardwick Dam located on Hardwick Pond Road. This is recommended also to be dismissed. Is that because of what?
The engineering is not complete in order to come up with a cost estimate.
Okay. Are we under some kind of time constraint if it's the requirements of the state and DEP?
Yes. They haven't set the time, but
Oh.
I would say it's coming.
It's coming, okay. Article 25, I move that the town transfer $30,000 from available free cash and $60,000 from water retained earnings for the cost, including all costs incidental, blah, blah, to design and construct 2 restroom facilities, one for the Parks Department office at Grenville Park, Church Street, and another for the Water Department at the water plant on Barn Street. This article would address the needs of restroom facilities at the Grenville Park and the water treatment plant. It's on the capital planning list, and the town gladly anticipates assistance with the construction of the Grenville Park restroom from Pathfinder Regional Vocational School. That's a great idea.
So that's already been engaged with them, or is this?
He did at our your annual meeting, did say that we had a project. That's the only one to ask, so, yes, engaged.
Good.
Okay. Select Board,
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Finance Committee,
Yes.
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 Town Manager.
Yes.
Article 26, I move that the town transfer $235,000 from available free cash to purchase and equip a bucket truck vehicle, including all costs related to, for the Department of Public Works. This truck would allow employees to conduct tree work and other maintenance throughout town. Any questions, comments?
Yes.
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 Ken, go ahead.
So, Mr. Chair, Madam Moderator, and Stuart, I'm still troubled by this going forward. What I understand to be the need, because we haven't seen the documentation from the department, to give us that information that we have requested, is that we currently have a bucket truck. It's old. I understand it to be in decent mechanical shape, but the boom that the bucket sits on that holds the operator when he goes up in the air to do his tree work and other work, that failed a required safety inspection. Did I get that right so far?
Yes.
Is it the dielectric testing?
It was some kind, Ken, was it the dielectric testing on the boom, do you know?
I believe it was, yeah, the annual testing.
It was the annual test.
Okay.
So,
Replace the whole truck or replace the upper boom?
Exactly.
well, that's my question is, first of all,
50,000 versus 235,000 is my understanding.
Well, I don't know about how taxpayers feel, but I'm gonna be honest. If we're having to borrow and use money to pay bills from free cash, then a $50,000 fix significantly saves money instead of $235,000
From free cash.
from, yeah.
But okay, my understanding, the 235,000 at some point is going to be needed. A new bucket truck at some point is going to be needed. It's like a new dump truck. We could.
Right, but
But we can put that off for a little while. I mean, the key is to make sure it's safe. And if there's no way to make it safe, then it justifies a new truck. If there's a way to make it safe for another 2, 3, 4 years. and
Well, the question's gonna be, what are we gonna put in the motion?
so I also.
Because this can all be argued at town meeting.
Right.
Yes.
So the other thing is, while this can be argued at town meeting, but I would like to see for a later agenda, a list of that truck, because I cannot see that that truck is going out nearly as much as a tree company truck that works for the utilities. How many hours are on that motor? When do we have record maintenance updates on when everything is done, oil changes, hydraulic changes, when things are greased, when fuel fill, all of that stuff? Is there a list of maintenance log to that vehicle?
Yes.
If so, can we please have that so we can have an understanding? I'm not saying it's not old, and I'm not saying that it's not needed, but I don't see that truck out every single day doing tree work or light work or anything else like I see with Lewis, with Northern, with Nelson. So I want to know how many times a year, what are we using it, when is the most times? I mean, I can kind of answer when I know when they use it from past experiences, but what is the big issues on it? I mean, is it transmission? Is it getting faulty? What is going on with it that we have to replace a whole truck when we can replace the upper boom just simply because it failed a dielectric test? Sir?
To your point with that truck, for a year I've been trying to get a tree that's dropping limbs at the end of Memorial Field. And people are using Memorial Field more now than ever because they've done a lot of rehab work to it. Some of these pieces are 8 inches in diameter that fall, and some have fallen next to people, and they have little kids. And I've talked to Chuck. He came down, he looked at it, and said, yep, it's gonna come down, a year ago.
I'll tell you what, sir. Because the select board also acts as the overseeing body of the tree warden, and do we have a tree warden?
I'm not sure that's an accurate statement.
It is.
Okay.
Law says it.
We will have a tree warden. We just hired the new highway superintendent. And he'll take that role.
Okay. So
So, it sounds like-
if we can follow up with that. Also, I will ask you to leave your name and phone number, and I will also go look at it as a certified arborist and the former tree warden for the town of Ware.
They're just trying to stop, a bad situation from getting worse, because these new, Monroe Street's an old street, but you got new families coming in, and new people are using the field with little kids. You can't tell them, don't walk in the road, that's the only place they can walk.
Yep.
When it's dropping limbs, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yep, before we can even say anything, we have to go out, take a look at it, see where the tree falls in the town's right of way and everything else. So that it could be that.
And
falls on my right-of-way property.
Okay, we'll take that up at another time though, okay?
That's fine,
But, yeah.
I just don't want it to be blown away for another year.
Okay, we'll take a look.
So,
Yeah, Barry Sinclair. I live on Cummins Road. I have a couple trees that I've talked to about
Okay.
having removed.
So, I don't mean to stop you,
Yeah.
but tell Stuart this, Stuart, any of these, we will have a conversation, but let's have this conversation, either come back to another meeting, ask to be put on the agenda so I can give you the proper time, just because we're gonna be here for a while, and then we can make sure that everything is taken care of at that time. I'm not trying to dismiss you.
They can't fix it without a truck. So is your recommendation to fix the boom?
Yes,
So this should be $50,000?
I believe so.
Well, I think it's hard for us to substitute our judgment from a financial basis when we don't have the documentation. I can't vote for $235,000 without the documentation, and I don't have it. And I'm hesitant to say $50,000 is the solution, because I don't have the documentation. So, again, let me ask a question. Can this be pushed off to a fall town meeting?
If you don't want to take care of trees this summer.
Well, I don't know that that's the only answer. I believe, as Josh mentioned, there are companies that have bucket trucks that would be available for rent, just like John is doing with sewer vacs to maintain our sewer system. That,
Very expensive.
I'm not going to dispute that. I understand it might be expensive. But again, I'm hesitant to agree a $235,000 investment is the right answer. And I don't know enough to say that the $50,000 investment is the right answer either. So if we're gonna spend, I don't know, are we gonna spend $50,000 between July 1 and the time we get the truck repaired, say it's in early next year? Maybe, but we've got mechanisms to deal with that with the reserve fund and other systems. I realize it's not optimal, but that's just my thinking.
Where did we get the, was that a quote of $50,000?
Yeah, it might be high, but not by much.
Okay. And what would be the scheduled timeframe that this could be fixed with the 50,000?
I don't recall. I'll ask Howard.
So probably within a couple months?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Does Ken know?
I don't know the time frame of the repairs, obviously it depends on the repair facility, how backed up they are. There's only a couple of facilities, as you
Right.
probably know, we usually use queues on
Yes.
New Hampshire.
Yep.
So you
Okay.
generally get your deli number when you go up there and wait for them to bring it up, you know.
Okay.
Well, do you want to go for 50,000?
I do. I think if that's the case, it's simply replacing, I don't know if they replaced the whole boom, but if it failed the dielectric, it means it arced. So, yeah,
You could say transfer no more than 50,000.
yeah.
Make it the ceiling.
For repairs?
And if it's lower, then we're not committing to it.
Yeah, exactly.
and then that would be to repair an existing bucket
Yeah.
truck vehicle.
And again, Stuart, if you could just,
I'll get the quote.
that and just maintenance log on the truck, see where everything has been done, dates, by who did it, any type of large maintenance with the truck, everything that they can possibly gather. So if they are saying that they need it, or if we're in fear of this coming 2 years down the road, at least we can start preparing for this now, but making sure the truck has been adequately maintained, and I think it has. I'm not saying that it hasn't, but in order to do something like this, I think we need to make sure that the truck is adequately taken care of.
Okay, so, looks like Article 26 is going to be that we move for the transfer of no more than $50,000 from available free cash to repair an existing bucket truck vehicle.
And the explanation will need to change.
Yeah, we'll need to fix the explanation. Select Board?
Yes.
Aye. Yes.
Okay. Finance Committee?
Yes.
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 Town Manager?
Yes.
But no, we just finished it, but it's an example that we need information as a finance committee, as a select board, well before we go through a document like this.
Yes.
Especially when it's an expense of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Because we're working blind here.
Right.
Article 27 is recommended to be dismissed.
I do want to point out that that's my recommendation, maybe you want to discuss it. My recommendation is just based on not spending the reserves for the vehicle at this time.
So it's in there to equip an administrative vehicle for the Department of Public Works. And it's for the Water and Sewer Operations Manager and DPW Director to share a vehicle. It is on the capital planning list.
So I would just restate the question I'd asked earlier to Stuart through the Finance Committee is, do we have other funds available? I know we have some PFAS grant, I'm not sure it's grant awards, it's legal awards maybe, that have come to the town. I thought, Stuart, they were in the vicinity of $40,000 to $50,000 in total. I thought we had two.
It should be more than that.
If it's more than that, then we ought to be able to fund this. Because this is only $35,000.
True. Question is whether you want to fund it on this vehicle or filters or other things.
My opinion at this point is, with due regard for the work that John is doing as the operations manager for the enterprise and Ken as our interim public works director, I feel them having a vehicle would be a benefit for the town, and I think it would be a good investment of the grant dollars. And then the balance of that could be available for other projects, and it removes it from our free cash allocation for this fiscal year, which again, I think is good judgment on the town's part to not use free cash for that. That's my opinion.
And any other year, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion because we weren't putting almost $700,000 of free cash as a budget subsidy.
So you're going to recommend transfer from, or to fund it by PFAS legal awards?
We'll have the town council write it, but yeah, from available funds from legal awards.
Okay. Select Board,
Aye.
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 All right.
Finance Committee,
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Town Manager.
Yes.
28, I move that the town transfer $50,000 from free cash to design and engineer a splash pad and the replacement of the Reed Memorial Pool. This allows the town to proceed with the design and engineering services of the reconstruction of the pool and splash pad. The Parks Commission has committed $70,000 of trust funds toward the design. This is going to raise a lot of discussion.
It is, and while I have reservations about moving forward with it, I think we should give this decision to the town. But as a finance committee, we had discussed this and we feel strongly that we also need to make clear to the town that even though we might spend this money and get design and engineering for a future pool and splash pad, fiscal challenges we face mean we may not have the means to spend the money on a pool. And I think we saw a very sharp division in the town at the last town meeting, almost 50-50. It seemed. I kept going, oh, they're going to win. Oh, no, I was wrong. And it ended up being, because it's a lot of people feel that we need it for the kids. A lot of people feel that it's lower on the priority list when we need to address water and a bunch of other things. So I think our opinion would be move forward with this, but at town meeting, we need to explain to people that this doesn't mean we're going to have a pool. It just means we set up so that we understand what it would entail, what it would cost, and that given the situation we're going to be in the next few years, that $4 million or whatever it is may not really be within the town's capabilities.
Thank you.
I agree with you. Okay, so, Select Board.
No.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Finance Committee.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? See, they stay consistent.
Town Manager.
Yes,
Did the Parks Commission do anything with this?
they did. I don't know if it was 2-1 or 3-0. I think it was 3-0, but they did vote.
Just make sure you include, yeah.
I think it's important to note again that when the Finance Committee was saying yes to this, it's to get the information. It may be a different vote
Right.
when we get the dollar amount to the board.
I just hate seeing spending money and it turn into a no-go after.
Yes, but it's gonna be,
Yeah, I mean, this is
however we vote,
$120,000.
That's
The town's gonna
people,
have
exactly.
to decide.
That's what town meeting's for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Article 29, I move that the town transfer $175,000 from free cash to demolish the Reed Memorial Pool and bathhouse. This addresses safety and liability concerns of the vacant pool and buildings.
So if I might, Madam Moderator, and Stuart, I think I was the one who put this on the warrant originally, so do I still have that right of ownership? But
I'll let them have it, right?
But
that's what it is.
as the submitter of it, and after working with the Finance Committee and listening to the discussion at the board and from the community, I would recommend we dismiss this article because it is asking for an additional appropriation of $175,000. You just heard how we talked about the needs of the bucket truck, how we look to save $35,000 from a free cash allotment, trying to find another source. My rationale for bringing it as a dismiss the article, not only because I don't want to further impact free cash, we have managed the risk of that vacant facility well for several years. The Parks maintains it. The playground has been removed, so we no longer are bringing young people down there legally. I don't know if we're bringing them down there illegally, but they're not down there legally, so it's reduced the foot traffic down there, minimizing somebody that might get into it and injure themselves or put a liability on the town. So while I think similar to the bucket truck, either we do it now or we do it later, we're gonna have to address this later, but I think later is the better financial option for the town at this point. So I would move to the board and to that this be dismissed.
So, bless you. This isn't how I would do it at the town meeting, but since you've sort of made that proposal, let's see what the others here feel about that. But I also want to let you know that because the warrant, the same with the other ones here, because the warrant was already posted, including these articles, we still need to put it forth to the town meeting if they wish to dismiss.
Yeah.
And they may choose not to dismiss the article.
Yep, that's town meeting.
But I just, it's, what we're doing here tonight is getting your recommendations, so.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, so it sounds like you're gonna recommend dismissal of this article, select board.
What are you asking for? Do we recommend
Both.
dismissal or do we?
Do you recommend dismissal, select board?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No. Finance committee,
Yes.
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 town manager?
On dismissal?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And so it looks like the yeses for dismissal won out, so I think that in the packet, and the motion should be for dismissal, but.
I just want to clarify, my note, if 28 fails, I really think 29 has to go forward. But it's a liability.
I agree with you, and that's kind of how I thought.
But if 28 passes, then
I consider that regardless of safety, regardless of anything, it is still a liability, and the town owns that liability 24/7, 365. And I know what you're saying, and I would just respectfully out of that, I would like to see it just gone and be done with, and then start anew at a better fiscal time. Maybe not in my lifetime, but whenever it is, it would be there, ready to go. But it does take off that burden of something happening. Yes, you can say, well, they shouldn't be climbing a fence, well, somebody did.
Yeah.
So just be prepared that that very well could come up as part of the discussion for a motion to dismiss, and, you know,
Yeah,
feel
that
free
could fail.
But
to
that's,
make your statements.
well, like you said, this is why we have this,
Uh-huh.
the truest form of town government there is, and this is it.
And the craziest.
Okay, Article 30, move that the town transfer $400,000 from available sewer retained earnings for the purpose of funding a comprehensive wastewater management plan, including all costs incidental and related thereto. So, this is interesting language saying suggest to postpone. So,
Again, that's mine.
we're not gonna sit on the fence, either we're gonna recommend dismissal or we're gonna go forward, so.
Just want to point out that there is not $400,000 available in sewer retained earnings. So
Okay.
that's why I suggest,
Even after the certification by the state for the coming
the
fiscal
state
year?
certification was around 230,000.
So we'd have to dismiss.
So that's the figure that should appear then?
If you want to spend all the retained earnings on that, which is next. I do think we should ask the state to review that number, but they can't do that till after
What, the
July.
220,000 retained earning number?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we should move forward if we take the whole retained earnings for that. But we need this, right, Stuart? This is,
Yeah, this is the next, so we have the assets management plan, and
Yeah.
then there's this plan, and then there's actual things.
so we could do this at a fall town meeting?
Yeah. Sorry.
So what do you want to move forward with?
Dismissal.
Recommend dismissal?
The only other option is, and I'm not suggesting this in any way, is to subsidize with
Yep.
free cash.
Okay, so it sounds like recommending
We have to
dismissal.
call 911.
Select board?
Yes for dismissal.
Yes for dismissal.
Yes.
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 Okay, finance committee,
Yes for dismissal.
Yes.
Yes.
town manager?
Yes.
And did you get any kind of a vote from the infrastructure asset
They
improvement?
meet next week.
Article 31, is this all the same 330,000 that's in 31 and 32?
It is not.
Okay, so I move that the town transfer 330,000 from available water retained earnings for the purpose of funding the design phase of the Barn Street replacement walls and cistern, decommissioning, etc. That money's there?
There's approximately 1.1 million in the
Okay.
water side.
Select board?
Yes.
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 Finance committee?
Yes.
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 Town manager?
Yes.
Okay. Article 32, I move that the town transfer 330,000 from available water retained earnings to update the town's lead service line. This is a really long article, so
Has commas.
to do a lot of work on the water service lines. Under the explanation, the purpose of the article is to continue to map all service lines connecting water mains to the building inlets to eliminate lead exposure. The EPA has mandated that every public
Yep.
water supplier take an inventory of all water service lines, blah, blah, blah. Comments?
I do have a question. So this is this is a lead program. How are we cleaning to find to see if there's lead? We don't have a back truck. Are we hiring somebody out?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Select board?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, get on.
Yes.
Yes.
Finance committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Town
Yes.
manager?
Yes.
Sorry. Sort of jumped ahead there. Article 33, I move that the town support the resolution requesting additional funding and representation for the Quabbin region by the Massachusetts Water Resource Authority and authorize the select board to sign and submit the resolution. This would reconfigure the pilot agreement to better reflect the true value of the land stewardship, and the funds and the Quabbin resources would be available to 12 watershed towns. Questions, comments?
This is a good thing.
Potentially more money for the town, right? Yeah.
We're there.
We charge more.
Yeah.
More is good. Yes.
Finance committee.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
excuse me. Select board. I was right
Yes.
at you and said
Yeah.
that. Okay, finance committee.
Yes.
Yes.
Town manager. And last but not least, I move that the town discontinue Park Boulevard and undeveloped Town Way. This would allow the town to discontinue a 1938 undeveloped Town Way located from Church Street. Currently, Park Boulevard is designed through 2 residential properties and has not been developed, designated, or utilized since 1938. I'll be safe bet.
It's only 88 years.
Yeah. Anything to be said? I'll need, I can do my own research, but I'll need to hear from town council on vote quantum on that. I think it's 2/3, but I need to know for sure.
So, just a quick question. Where is this exactly?
127 Church Street Store.
Yeah, it's where the,
It's right almost across from Old Gilbertville Road.
Oh,
but it comes down like this past 2 backs of 2 properties.
okay. Wow. It's all the way there?
It's been there forever.
Really?
Well, at least since 1938.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
It just goes in, and then it just stops at 2 parcels.
Oh.
Okay, select board,
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
finance committee,
Yes.
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 town manager,
Yes.
okay, and parks commission, you'll put in what they put in. Okay, any questions for me, concerns?
Hearing none.
Pardon me?
I said hearing none.
Hearing none, I will let you all move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See as many of you as possible on June 8th.
Yes, we'll be there.
Just take a short 3-4 minute recess. Yeah. We'll call it. This is my favorite one, so that's what I'm getting you. No, there's a bunch more. Your mom hooked me up, even though I already ate a pound of candy. No, I haven't had any of these ones yet. I had my 2 bags. I ate that and cheese today.
Still on the fast?
No, I left it, but I did end up doing.
Congratulations on it.
But I ended up, just kind of a intermediate fast.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, no problem.
You're gonna get a license.
That's okay.
No, that's fine.
I love to see the democracy work.
Oh, yeah.
Got about 11 towns, 9 towns that are represented.
It wasn't, the sausage wasn't too bad tonight.
No, it wasn't actually. I asked Nancy, how many warrants were there? Not too bad, 34.
34. That's long
And you
for us.
dismissed a few.
Yeah, but that's a long, that'll be a long meeting because of
Good
discussion.
admonition on the free cash. Oh, Stephen, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, of course, I'm very pleased to be here. The Boston is under a lot of Boston. It was 47 million.
Yeah.
They wanted to have that's more than half of the retire.
Well, Springfield, they're just starting their budget discussion, but I think he's looking to tap like over 100 million.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't see what he was asking. Are you enjoying the board? Enjoying it?
He's doing great.
Good for you. People's choice, you're the people's choice.
He started about 45 seconds.
Yeah, but, have the current that's on the clip, like,
Absolutely. Yeah, good for you. New blood to start from a lifetime. Yep, no, it absolutely is. Absolutely is.
You can give them my information if you want.
I can't wait to see what that, have they approved and override.
I know it.
I think it is.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back into session. Thank you, just had to get some drinks and everything else. At this time, we are going to have Mr. Knappich come on up. I think everybody saw the message that where you guys are looking to build. I know the board does have questions, I have questions. So, but without further ado.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and congratulations to the new members. Appreciate the opportunity, which I know the invitation has been outstanding for a little while, to come and visit with all of you. And I know, certainly Selectman Willett is aware, we wanted to make the announcement of the siting of the Bay State Health Convenient Care Facility and have that be an opportunity to reflect upon. So I'll speak to that. Also want to talk a little bit about the Rural Health Transformation Program, which are those federal dollars that are coming to Massachusetts that will obviously help us to help the state to transform how they deliver health in the rural regions. I think it's an exciting and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I certainly had not seen while I was a member of the legislature for about 25 years. And then I know there are a couple of other side items too, but I just want to go back a minute to explain how we got to where we are today. I know there's some new members, and one of the, I think, important events that happened in the relationship with Bay State and the town was Bay State, the trustees appointed a new leader at Bay State Health almost 2 years ago, Peter Banco, and shortly after he joined Bay State in the summer of '24, he certainly had been brought up to speed on this issue. And I know former Chair Talbot, Dr. Treesh, Stewart, Rep. Smola expressed an opportunity to meet with our new leader, to have a conversation about what has transpired over time here and where, and if there might be an opportunity to bring some healthcare services back. And I think in the ensuing probably half a dozen or more stakeholder meetings, as we called them, I think they found a very receptive ear in Peter in identifying an opportunity to bring some healthcare back to the community. And Peter has said that, from day one within Bay State, to our leadership team, to our employees across the spectrum, that this is something we need to do at Bay State Health. We know the decision to close Mary Lane was very difficult for any community, obviously, to experience that, but there's an opportunity perhaps to do something in a positive frame. So that was the spirit, I think, within which we engaged in a series of conversations. And it was also the time when the demolition delay had been coming to a conclusion in the fall of '24, and Chair Lack and the commissioners did a commendable job looking for reuse for the facility. We tried to find a reuse facility, and obviously that was not possible. And because of the stakeholder engagement with the representative, the former Chair Stewart, Dr. Treesh, we put the demolition of the property on hold. There was a pause, which hopefully folks recall, to see if we could buy some more time for folks to identify a reuse. Obviously, that did not happen either, sadly, and the decision was made, obviously, to begin some demolition of the property, leaving the Weatherby building there. The request had been made of Peter Banco, please leave the Weatherby building in place, and there might be a future use. I know the town evaluated at some point too, and so obviously today it's boarded up and pending a potential future use. So it's all part of the commitment, I think, to what we learned as part of this very constructive engagement with town officials. I do want to thank, Stuart, your office, Ann and the building inspector, the fire and the police chief also, for their understanding and support as we dealt with the property over at Mary Lane. Because I think that this town was extremely helpful and cooperative dealing with a very complex situation. So fast forward to where we are today, and Peter Banco made it very clear. We want to bring additional care back to Ware. It will be contingent on obviously securing or resecuring the Gilbert Trust, which obviously went through a process as well over the last year or so. And in January, probate court determined that Bay State could keep the trust or the proceeds of the trust. It would be dedicated to this convenient care. So immediately in January and on, we went to identify a site. There were other preferred sites, obviously, that we looked at, proposed sites. We tried to, with our real estate team, scour the availability of it, and we landed on, obviously, the announcement that came this week at the site at 114 West Street, which is the old Smithland store, Smithland Pet and Garden Center, for the Bay State Mary Lane Convenient Care Center. We operate 5 other convenient care centers across the Bay State service delivery area. You can consult if you don't know what it entails in terms of convenient care, our baystatehealth.org website. I do have a recitation of the programs. The hours are there, the types of service that will be offered. It will be licensed as an urgent care center. Convenient care is urgent care. There will be laboratory services offered. There will be imaging offered as well as part of that. We expect there to be a 9 to 12 month build out. The architect has already been engaged, so all of that work, as well as the clinical identification of what is necessary, that has been ongoing right along. So again, leading us to the securing the contract with the property owners over at the site. So within 9 to 12 months, we anticipate standing up the convenient care offering here in Ware. As part of a side conversation to all of that was which also came out of our very constructive stakeholder engagement was, what additional types of care, what additional types of services could be provided. And Peter, again, to his credit, envisioned the opportunity to bring our family medicine residency program here to the eastern Bay State region, the Quabog Valley region, to the town of Ware. We operate a department of family medicine up in Greenfield. It's the only academic department at Bay State Health that's not located in Springfield with the academic medical center. But we thought it important at the time it was established about 5 or 6 years ago to put it in rural Franklin County as an opportunity to grow the next generation of primary care physicians. You probably know, or you may not know, that our academic partner is UMass Medical School. So Bay State Health is the western campus of UMass Medical School to train the doctors of tomorrow. And what we're seeing is a great success in, again, the growing your own notion of educating the doctors here in Western Massachusetts, enticing them to serve and stay within the community. And we hope that if we are able to expand the family medicine program into Ware in this region, we'll have the same accomplishment. That will be somewhat contingent on the Rural Health Transformation Program dollars, right? So that's a bucket of $162 million the federal government made available last summer as part of the big beautiful bill, OB3, that passed signed by the president on July 4th. It has incredible headwinds around it, though, with some pretty dramatic cuts to the Medicaid program across the country. Governor Healy and her administration think it could pull $4 to $5 billion out of our provision of health care within Massachusetts. We've estimated for Bay State Health it could be in excess at full implementation in 2032 of about $150 million. I mean, that's real dollars. You're going to see very shortly the federal work requirements come into play for folks on Medicaid, and some of them won't be able to deal with those federal work requirements, and folks will fall off the rolls. They'll still need health care, and they probably will go to the emergency room in a very much an uncompensated fashion, but that will just add challenges. The Rural Fund is perhaps the only bright spot within all of that OB3 from the point of advancing access to care. The rest of the bill, quite frankly, after a generation of expanding access across the nation, and Massachusetts has been a model in expanding care, the rural piece really doubles down on, and again, in the Commonwealth, from my estimation, for the first time ever, to give some space and resources to rural Massachusetts to figure out, what is the appropriate level of care? What does that look like? Who can we partner with? And we're waiting in anticipation from the state with the release of what we understand to be an RFP process, request for proposals. Bay State Wing was identified as one of 6 rural serving hospitals in Massachusetts in the state's application to the federal government. There's rural serving FQHCs, there's rural serving community groups and others in the state itself that will likely apply into these buckets of money. Bay State made an expression of what we anticipate using these resources should we be granted them when we provided information to the state last fall. And it was around expanding the family medicine program to this region. And I'll just quickly go through the 7 initiatives, just so that you know them. And this is all on the state's website. The Mass Office of Rural Health has a very good website. You can get on their listserv. But we hope in Massachusetts, and again, working with our state delegation, Rep. Smola, Senator Durant, and Rep. Berthium, all of whom I served with when I was in the legislature, we know they're going to be fierce champions to bring more resources back to this rural area. But the initiatives the state will focus on are population health advancement, innovation in rural care models, training healthcare for retention, that's the workforce piece, healthy rural communities, EMS service integration, a lot of issues, as we know, in the EMS space, enhancing technology, interoperability, and connectivity. It's not all about within the 4 walls of hospitals and providers. It's also about what's happening throughout communities. And then a piece in facility modernization and reuse. So literally any day, the state should be putting out an RFP for the community at large, providers and others, to look at how they might capitalize on this opportunity of $162 million. It's a 5-year program. We're not guaranteed subsequent funds, but the state will look at sustainability of these programs because the money will go away. So they're going to take a hard look at how we can transform rural healthcare, and that is the admonition from the Congress of the United States, to make sure we're not doubling down on the urban healthcare. It's to double down on what happens in the rural space. And as I said, I spent 25 years in the legislature. We never had the ability, we never had the resources to have the thoughtful conversation. And I'll stop here in just a moment. We talked in our stakeholder meetings about convening discussions on a regional basis to talk about the future of healthcare in this region. Bay State, through Peter Banco, our president, wants to be part of those conversations. We think they're important. We've always believed that they're important for this region, as they are throughout Western Massachusetts. We're 80, 90, 100 miles from Boston. We've got to make decisions out here, and the more that we can act and work together, the better. So we look forward to how we begin to frame those, and it could very well be framed around this program. And I will finally say that the consultant that you folks have brought on, I think from Mass Development, to do some work in the area of the town where Mary Lane's located and other facilities right here in the downtown. We're happy to be part of that dialogue. I had a chance to communicate with the consultant a couple of weeks ago prior to the open house and the visits and the walk. I think it was a beautifully hot day that day in April, but happy to be part of that. So I'll stop there. I know I went on for a little bit, but we really appreciate, and I know Peter does as well, this spirit of engagement with all of you, looking at this opportunity to enhance and bring back a level of care. And again, I want to thank the folks who worked with us to this point, and thank the board also, both for their patience and also for their understanding as we navigate a really fierce, competitive environment, both with financing in workforce and all the other factors that could come into it. Massachusetts prides itself on being one of the top healthcare states in America, and we want to make sure, and I think this rural fund opportunity will provide that space within communities like Ware and in this region. So I'm happy to answer questions folks might have.
Does the board have any questions?
Yes. Now, when you open your new facility, what services will you be providing?
Yeah, so So again, consistent with our other 5 sites, and I'll leave this, folks, I don't know if did you copy anything, Stuart, for the members? You can certainly, copy the information. So it'll be laboratory services, obviously imaging services as well. And again, you can look at the PAs will be available, could be primary care physicians as well within the practice, but it's convenient, urgent care, things that, versus emergency care, obviously, colds, coughs, flu, fevers, sore throats, upper respiratory problems, asthma, minor cuts, rash skin, urinary tract infections, migraine headaches, strains and sprains, stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, animal bites if not severe. There's a whole category which I'll give you. What should you go to urgent care for? What should you go to the emergency room for? What should you go to your primary care physician for? So obviously in the urgent convenient care space, it's that list of possible ailments and whatnot that would be treated at the convenient care center.
Now, are you talking about like stitches? I have 3 boys. We have stitches a lot in our house.
Yeah,
Is this going to be something that I can, it's gonna happen within months from now, but my kid falls off his bike and, well, the last one just broke his collarbone, bangs it up and he needs stitches. Is this going to be a facility that I can bring my kids?
Yeah, I'll get that answer. I mean, it doesn't list that on the sites, but I think, short of that, it certainly can treat controversial.
Because a while back when there was Bay State convenient cares, they were up in like Feeding Hills and everything else. I can't talk any more highly of the care that my wife received from that facility there. It was second to none. It was absolutely incredible. So I'm hoping that with what I was reading, with the press release and everything else, it's going to mirror kind of what that was. I know that there's not everything that it was, but if it could mirror what it was once, that service was exactly what this town would be looking for, is to have that. I mean, emergency room's one thing, but to be able to get 27 stitches in your knee or whatever, it's something that it desperately does it. That also would help the constant strain that's on our public safety services going to and from Palmer to here. It's a big deal. I'm sure that you know that. So everything that we can get, in a partnership with Bay State to offer to the residents of this town, Hardwick, even in Palmer, to have this, I think that this would be a good opportunity, and that's just why I'm asking, what is this going to be? Is it, like you said, minor cuts and scrapes? Fine, but is in the minor cuts and scrapes, is that stitches? Is that, I'm not talking someone's arm off, but
Yeah, no, and I think, I know the stakeholders, Mr. Chair, that we spoke with. I mean, obviously we want this facility to be utilized.
Yes.
And I think anytime you can open up an urgent care, I know there's a lot of obviously private sector models out there which have a place in an operative space of their own. We obviously didn't see that here in the Ware region. So lots of areas in Western Massachusetts where you don't even have the private sector trying to fill the gaps in the space. So our hope, and I would anticipate it based on certainly feedback I've seen in conversations, that once this facility opens, and we should have a builder on under contract within a week or so to start the actual construction. We may need assistance with whatever permits are required with the town and whatnot for the facility, but if it becomes wildly successful, Peter has made the commitment to expand services. So I'll get the fine point of what you had asked about there, but I think that's our hope and our goal, and that it also relieves some of the pressure over at Wing. I mean, that's an excellent point, and we know that to be the case. As healthcare contracted, it creates pressure points elsewhere. We hope that this will allow us to decant some of those services that are more appropriately cared in a non-emergency setting.
And now, with this being a facility where it's going to be based on, like, with education, teaching young doctors and everything, how much oversight is there going to be by senior leadership within the facility.
Well, so that would be on the second phase, right? With the funds from the rural, I mean, 100%, it is. I mean, these are doctors that are, in a residency program, family residency program, who have that oversight. We already have our students from UMass Medical School in the various regions, right? We have a western region headquartered out of Bay State Noble into the hill towns, up in the northern regions, Bay State Franklin, and all the areas of rural Franklin County. We describe this as the eastern region, headquartered with Wing, and now this satellite facility in Ware. So those doctors, whether they're the doctors or the students, I mean, they have complete oversight from the academic departments of Bay State, again, through UMass Medical School as well.
Thank you.
So, here in Ware, it's been a long 6+ years, a lot of emotions in the town. We need to know that we can trust Bay State again. It's divided the town with how people feel. People are weary about Bay State coming back in. So just being on the select board, I want to look out for the residents and make sure that Bay State's going to give what they say they're going to give, and we're not going to just have them here for a few years and, not really care. We need to know that Bay State is going to have a system.
No, I appreciate you saying that, and I hope, and again, from day one, and I know the stakeholders, Nancy and Howard and Stuart and Todd, know that. I mean, Peter was clear from the beginning. We need to do this. It's a new day in terms of delivering this care in Ware, and I know our teams are excited about it, right? And there's a lot of change in healthcare, but here's an opportunity in a very positive, forward fashion to reestablish some care with, I hope, the expectation, I say this certainly politically, what share of $162 million does this region deserve to help transform rural health? And it won't just be with Bay State Health, but I would hope folks would recognize we do have an adjacent hospital. We will have a facility here. We hope to have the family medicine program. We want to engage in those very important regional community conversations. We want to be part of that. So I think that's the trust I think that we want to show. And Peter has, I think, been nothing but clear that that's what he wants us all to express to this town and to its citizens, that it's a new day. And this, obviously, announcement this week, I think, plants a firm flag in where Bay State wants to position itself in the future.
So Mike, everyone has seen that Bay State is now going to take over Mercy and the operation of Mercy Hospital and its facilities and whatnot. So a logical question is, what does that mean for what Bay State planned for Ware? We're a certain priority, we understand that, and to us, we're the most important priority, and we don't want to see you lose your focus on our needs. But being realistic, that's a major undertaking in the city of Springfield, taking over Mercy and all of its things. So how is, the question I would ask is, how will Bay State maintain its focus on both Ware and Mercy at the same time?
No, a fair question, Mr. Selectman Willett. We are able to juggle multiple balls, because I can tell you certainly Noble and the Western region have needs of their own as well. Peter and the team, again, have made it very clear. They're separate and distinct. The commitment to Ware is the commitment to Ware in this project, as I just articulated. What's happening in Springfield, and folks who paid attention certainly know this, Trinity Health is the current owner of Mercy Medical Center and its affiliated groups. It's been pretty clear for a number of years that Trinity had no interest in further investments into Springfield. Springfield's its own uniquely challenged demographic. We see that at Bay State Medical Center in downtown Springfield, the largest employer, obviously, in the city. And as Mercy has closed and shuttered services, the people don't go away. They go to Bay State for the services. And one recent example is the closure of their maternity unit at Mercy in December. It's actually on pause. Those babies are still being born. They're now being born at Bay State. So what we've been seeing over a number of years, the closure of Providence Hospital, Behavioral Health Hospital a number of years ago, closure of other clinics, other services. Trinity Health is a national hospital system, almost 90 hospitals, headquartered in Michigan, with people in Michigan making decisions. Springfield's a long way from Michigan, but any reduction in services at Mercy has had a detrimental impact on Bay State. So Trinity made the decision to put Mercy up for sale. There were not willing buyers. It's again a very challenged economic market in Springfield, as it is everywhere. In Massachusetts, in the Northeast, very challenging to be in healthcare. Bay State believed that what we could do is two things: open up vacant beds that currently exist at Mercy, stabilize the workforce, including the emergency department at Mercy, which is a private equity firm that runs the emergency department at this time, but really double down on making sure that it's a vibrant community hospital, because the city needs more than just Bay State. So through that process, identifying, what will be called Bay State Mercy as another community hospital, it will allow us to free up capacity at Bay State Medical Center, which is running at 115% capacity, partly because Mercy's not running it. Mercy's about 50% capacity. So you gotta all be rowing in the same direction with the same vigor and rigor and strength, and that just has not been happening in healthcare there. So the goal is to stabilize Mercy, bringing it under the umbrella. It allows us to coordinate all of this activity in Western Massachusetts, recruiting and retaining physicians and doctors and nurses and advanced practitioners, of which there are more and more, dealing with everybody on the front line throughout the region, working with our technical high schools. Pathfinder's a great partner, Ware High School's a great partner, the community colleges in the region. So all of that to say that we believe that having it all coordinated under Bay State Health will allow us to advance care in Western Mass in a way that just has not been happening. And the other point I hope is not lost on anybody, Bay State Health is run by a local board of trustees. Local control, our friends, our neighbors, I know there's folks from out here in the Quabog Valley who serve and have served on our board. They make the decisions for their friends and neighbors of what healthcare will look like. That's different than what's happening in a lot of healthcare, particularly in the for-profit space, but we certainly saw it with Trinity. So I didn't mean to go on about that, but I just wanted to provide, because I know it's confused, like how can you do this, this, and this, and this? It's not easy.
And I'd like to just, a couple of quick remarks. To follow up on Valerie's comment, I can only speak from my perspective during my term as a member on this board, is that I think one of the most important jobs we're gonna have, and I say this with, it's a business observation, I say it with all due respect and no ill intent, this board is going to have to hold Bay State accountable to the promises it made. That, and you had mentioned it tonight, Peter said we're going to be in Ware, we're going to have access to the trust funds, we're going to set up convenient care. And to Valerie's comment, as the business market changes for Bay State and Bay State needs to make whatever business adjustments, the expectation of the board is that you will see the board as a partner with you and keeping us informed and helping us understand what's happening, but more importantly, when it comes down to the role of the trust monies, as Valerie shared with you, it did go through a process, but it's been a real item that this town has taken, probably closer than you might have encountered in any of your other member communities, because those dollars were the hard-earned dollars of members of this community and what it means to them. So we take that obligation on their behalf. So I think that's an important takeaway from this meeting, is that we applaud Bay State. If you were a private business coming into town and investing the millions of dollars you're going to be putting into that building, bringing in the payroll and the traffic into that plaza, that's going to be spin-off for other businesses. If you were a business doing that, we'd be ecstatic, because that's great for the town. And that's a good thing. We don't want to lose sight of that, how it can feed into the town's economy and the vibrancy and what makes Ware special and shows that Ware cares. So we applaud that. We think that's wonderful. And the last question I'll ask is, what can we as a board do to support you as you go into this next round of the rural health money? How can we help you get into the position to get, be in a good, to get the rural health money for the family residency program? I think the family residency program here in Ware would be a home run.
Yeah.
To be able to do that on that parcel, and that could be a springboard for the development of that parcel for the intent of town meeting, which rezoned it for medical use. By having an anchor, if you will, facility like that, that may attract enough interest in other entities to want to take advantage of what that parcel was zoned for and what town meeting felt would be an appropriate use. So it's a real home run for the town, but what can we do to help you increase your chance of getting that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, because this will be a competitive process, right? I mean, the $162 million, and I have another, I can share I'll give you the other document here. There's about 200 communities that are sort of classified as rural or rural adjacent, 200. Right? Not that they all have, hospitals or health clinics or those things available to them, but, there's a lot of people that are going to be making claims on that. And as you look at what's happening nationally, some urban centers are trying to make a claim on these rural funds in other states, and I don't think that'll be allowed here in Massachusetts. But I think to answer your question, Trustee Willett, I think anything you can do to help underscore, we can share with you our application once it's out there. We don't yet know what that will look like. There's other community groups that may apply for some of those resources too. I think the larger regional conversation is also important too, probably led by folks here in Ware, because you are the larger of the rural communities here in the Quabog Valley. So we want to be partners in those conversations, right? So nothing, to have a seat at the table when all the groups come together to advance care. So that is a work stream I think we want to engage in. And we will work with Rep. Smola and the Senator and Rep. Berthium just about how we can advance the application. Senator Jake Oliveira from Ludlow represents Palmer, where Bay State Wing is located. So I've already put them all on notice that, as soon as these monies are released and we get our application in line, we want them to fight fiercely for their share within their regions of these resources, right? And I mean, Western Mass, we've got some great rural champions in Western Massachusetts in the state legislature. So I think you can lend a powerful voice as the town to wherever the applications come from, not just a Bay State application. Obviously, we can do things that other community partners can't do, but together we can provide a better, stronger sense of rural care. So I think I would say, as we're able to share with you what we're doing, I would hope the state would welcome testimonials from their partners in town government at an opportunity to better serve their and your constituents. So I appreciate the willingness of this partnership moving forward. And I would just say, I know there's always difficulties, and I did enjoy watching the warrants go through a moment ago. It's a very challenging process in this near pure democracy that we have, but your willingness to sort of be champions for the effort is helpful. To the point I know, Trustee Granger, you made, and Trustee Willett also. We know that there's been some issues in the past. Well, the past is the past. We, I think, have an obligation to want to move forward in this relationship. I think you do too, on behalf of the citizens of Ware, and hold each other accountable as we move forward.
Yep.
As you know, the Board of Selectmen endorsed this plan, and I want to particularly thank Nancy Talbot as a champion as this whole process went through, and certainly the efforts of Stuart have been very, very significant. And you were saying this trust fund is very critical for this to go forward. Could you give us a sense how much money the Bay State is putting into this?
Excellent question. So again, thank you for that vote last year, the members that were here. And again, Peter was pretty clear. I mean, the successor of the trust to help deliver care was critical to us providing that opportunity. The spinoff is $350,000 a year. We think the build out, could be $1 million. There will be a subsidy. Don't quote me on that, but it's far in excess of the spinoff of the trust, obviously. So we've made the commitment for obviously the capital costs for the build out, and then the operational costs, which I think we estimated would be probably some function two times what the current trust spins off. So you're looking at a major subsidy by Bay State Health in advancing the care in the area. But that's how healthcare works. I know it's hard for folks to comprehend. Our health clinics in Springfield are 90% Medicaid. Medicaid has never paid at cost, so they operate at losses. We have other lines of service that we hope obviously make revenues that can offset those losses, and that's how not-for-profits work. It's sort of that, if you're going to deliver care, deliver a mission, and provide the services that state and federal partners and Medicare and Medicaid require and demand, you've got to figure out a way to cross-subsidize programs. So, there's a major cross-subsidy from Bay State to this. And again, I want to thank you for that vote last year. And you know this, Selectman Willett, the Bank of America and the Attorney General will also hold us accountable to the use of those funds. So that's also part of the obligation we have as the stewards of the very generous people in this community who left that legacy to the town, not envisioning what healthcare would look like in 2026, or how the federal government with OB3 would kind of deal with the provision of care, so.
Yeah, and again, not to be redundant, when would you expect the facility to become fully operational?
Well, it could be 9 to 12 months, so 9 months from now is the end of the
Okay,
year,
I
first of
hear
the
it.
year, yeah.
I just wanted to hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I tell this to Nancy, she'll call from time to time, but I'm excited for the town. I mean, it's an opportunity, I think, that, again, through Peter Banco and the trustees of Bay State, they felt we had an obligation to do this. And, I'm looking forward to, providing that service and the clinical team, and also what the future could hold with these other elements that we talked about too.
Excellent. I have some questions. When we're going to be located on where Smithland is, is it be open 7 days a week?
Yeah, they are open, so the hours, actually, I put them on, I gave them to Stuart, so they are consistent with the other community care offerings. They are open 7 days a week, into the evenings on several nights as well, but weekend hours as well.
Now, did Bay State lease the building, buy it, and if they leased it for, how long did Bay State lease the building for?
Yeah, I don't know the terms that the real estate folks put into, obviously something to help amortize the cost of the outfitting of the facility, but I don't know the terms of it.
Because I think that the residents of Ware would like have reinsurance that Bay State just didn't sign a 1-year lease, leave, 2-year lease, leave.
Yeah.
We want a reinsurance that Bay State's going to be committed to be here for the long term, and also the Weatherby building, because Bay State, what are the full plans for what the Weatherby building, you can answer that.
Yeah, so, I appreciate that, Selectman Hawk, for raising that question. So just a quick update on that. Right? I understand, I was going to drive by it on the way over, but I took the wrong Bridges Out road to get here, so although it'd be dark. But we're in the process of loaming and seeding some of the property. The fence we anticipate coming down in the middle of June. They want some of the new grass to catch a hold of it, right? So that's the property update there. The ultimate goal of this, and I think it's spoken to in the articles in the newspaper, is that ideally, if we're provided the resources, and some of the rural funds can be provided for the bricks and mortar elements over time, that we would be able to rehab the Weatherby building, and perhaps relocate the convenient care offering and the family medicine residency program in that building. So that's actually in the news. Peter has articulated that, and I think his willingness to keep the building in play to allow some time and space to figure out a reuse is what's behind that. But that's why, again, thank you for the opportunity to push state government to make the right. This is not Boston. This is Western Massachusetts, rural Western Massachusetts. We don't have these opportunities to capture these kinds of monies, and if the Weatherby option can be part of this, I think we're all in on that opportunity. So I don't know the terms of the current lease, but they're consistent with an opportunity that if we can double down on providing a pathway for Weatherby, we're going to look at both of those things.
I guess one last question with the Weatherby building area. Would there be any plans for a helicopter pad?
Yeah, so no other decision, so I know questions have come up over the past couple of years, what are you gonna do with the property and the site, and, you're keeping other people out, and nothing could be farther from the truth. There's been no offers, obviously, on the property, but, so at this stage, we don't have any plans for the remainder of the site. But right now, there is that focus on the Weatherby as an opportunity as we advance the convenient care here and where.
Well, thank you for coming in tonight and explaining what you have tonight, so.
And happy to keep the conversation going and questions as well. And I know you had 3 children, Mr. Chair, and I should have had the answer to that question, so
Yeah.
I'll get that to you.
So we look forward to working with you in the partnership. I'd like to invite you back at the beginning, at one of our September meetings to give us an update, if that would work for you.
Sure.
We can schedule something, so we can kind of keep a communication line, keep the public as informed as we possibly can. But this way, you guys can give us the goods, the bads, how everything is progressing. If anything has changed in your plans, I'd like to just make sure that we have, as this continues to grow, and it's getting closer to the project completion, that we have just the updates on how you guys are doing, what successes or challenges that are in the way. In this way, overall, we can make sure that the residents, not just of our town, but Hardwick, Gilbertville, Warren, everybody else will also know these updates as it progresses.
Yeah, no, happy to come back, and just a bookmark for all of you, the state into the federal government, through the state to the locals, they anticipate that money from the rural fund being in the field by September. So this is a very quick, when I talk about these RFPs coming out, there will be a very aggressive, quick turnaround, and it's going to be difficult, but we'll all have to get them in there to the state. They'll evaluate it through the month of July and August, but the federal government is demanding this money get in the field, not sit in the treasury in Boston or any other capital. And then as soon as it's out there, they begin evaluating, what did you spend it on? How's it going to look in 2027? And then you make application for the next round of the share of the $10 billion. We'd hope to get no less than $162 million again, but it would be predicated on how we meet those 7 parameters. But that money, so I would probably have an update for you on that as well, and then also where the convenient care construction is, so.
So that we can send an invitation for the 3rd week of September.
Thank you.
And hopefully you'll have some answers for that, and it'll all be good news on your part.
Good. All right, thank you for your time. I know it's a long night, and many of your nights are long nights. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Josh, could I ask a question of Mr. Napick?
I'll allow the one, but just to make sure that you address it through the board.
Okay, I will address it to you folks to maybe help me to learn what would happen since there are no plans for the remainder of the site beyond Weatherby. I would like to confirm that Bay State still remains committed to possibly conveying that property in part or in whole to a valid property owner that could provide services there, because they have said that in the past, and I'm curious to know if that would still be the case, being that they have no other plans for the remainder of that property.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer the question. I mean, I think it's consistent with what we've said in the past. If somebody has a proposal, send it our way. I mean, Peter Banco and the trustees of Bay State will evaluate proposals. So if the town has a proposal or anybody else, I can't speak to the specifics of that, but by no means, obviously, any proposal out there would have a fair evaluation from Bay State Health and the team.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Leon.
Good to see you all. Okay.
All right, Mike.
Take care now.
Take care.
Okay, we're gonna go to treasurer collection, request to sign notes for water tank and Main Street borrowing.
Yeah, guess who's up?
Just to help you. May I recommend that where it says vote up,
Yeah.
you insert the word I move, or you insert the word I move.
Where it said voted?
Oh, yeah.
Voted as I move. All right, so let's
Yes, that, and you're right,
Yeah, but what about, is this what we're talking about?
that's the explanation of what
Yeah, that's the letter from Ashley in your left hand.
Correct. And so then we'd be looking for
Yeah,
a motion, and that Ms. Granger's gonna read, just one second.
Well, I'm still a little confused. You want this 400, for the water main design. I thought that was federally funded.
No,
Pardon?
no, the sidewalks are a state grant. And the rest is town money for the water and sewer and the pavement.
Okay, so there are no federal money to that?
There's state money,
State, well, how much is the, state money?
$250,000 for the sidewalks.
Okay, so this is 400 added to that 250?
Correct.
Okay. And the time frame for all this?
That project should be a late summer, fall project.
See you guys.
Right? I, the clerk of the Select Board of the Town of Ware, Massachusetts, certify that a meeting of the board held May 19th, 2026, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. I move to approve the sale of $3,950,000, 4.125% general obligation bond anticipation notes of the town dated June 1st, 2026 and payable June 1st, 2027 to D.A. Davison and Company at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $22,436. What was that again? I move that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of a preliminary limited offering memorandum dated May 12, 2026, and a final limited offering memorandum dated May 19, 2026, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. I move to authorize, ratify, and confirm the execution and delivery of a note purchase agreement between the town and D.A. Davison and Company, providing for the sale of the notes on a negotiated basis. I move that the town treasurer and the select board be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a significant events disclosure undertaking in compliance with Sec. Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. I move that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures and work to monitor and maintain the tax exempt status of the notes and to comply with relevant security laws. I move that any certificates or documents relating to the notes may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manually executed counterpart signature page to such document. And electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents in all matters relating thereto having the same legal effect as original signatures. I move that each member of the select board, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken at a meeting open to the public, that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the place, date, time, and agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or, if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.32B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting, and remain so posted at the time of the meeting, that no deliberations or decision in connections with the sale of the notes were taken in executive session, all in accordance with GLC 30A 18-25 as amended, dated May 19th, 2026.
A second. Any need for discussion?
Could you repeat that?
Can you do that without looking this time?
Yeah, it's all up here.
Can you start with the second one, please?
All right. So, all in favor is asked to be roll call? John, do you have a question?
No, well.
No. Okay, so roll call, Stephen?
Stephen, aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Josh, aye.
Thank you.
That was great. Now, next time you have to memorize it. Okay, yeah, I think
And I
we'll,
think I need to,
Get you a pretty copy?
yeah, because I need to change the further voted to I moves.
all right,
She's just signing off on that that's what happened.
Okay,
Not
so
the
yeah,
actual.
you want to sign that one, but I do have other things for the board to sign off with.
so, old business, we have sewer abatements, 5-7 Bellevue Ave. Take a look at them.
The board asked for further math
Yep.
work and clarification of the gallons. But do you want to draw attention to the opening comment from Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Ken could summarize them, that'd be great.
How are you,
Hi,
Ken?
Mr. Chairman. Good, so, Ken Calder, Interim Director of Public Works. So on these sewer abatement requests that were put out, 5-7 Bellevue Ave, I know the board had requested a timeline from when the tenant informed the owner of the leak to the time the leak was actually fixed. It's calculated that the amount of water leaked actually would have filled about 4 Olympic-sized swimming pools, the amount of water that was lost in that. The leak persisted for over a 2-month time frame from when the time the owner was notified by the tenant to the time it got fixed. The excessive water use stopped on February 10th of this year. The upcoming bill, January through March, is expected to be significantly higher, somewhere in the $25,000 range. The property owner to date has not allowed the DPW access to the meter or allowed for the meter to be updated. Both are violations of the town's rules, water rules and regs of sections 5.6 and 5.9. They did provide, even though we requested a copy of an invoice from a plumber for the repair, they provided us with a photo of the meter and the plumber's invoice. So, I mean, a key point on it, the extended leak duration and refusal to cooperate with the department, we feel as the department is not grounds for an abatement.
We discuss everything, we just go through all of them.
You can go through all of them.
You want to go through all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. 35 Morse Ave,
Dispute relates to an August 2024 bill, which was clearly outside the 60-day dispute window that's described in our water rules and regulations. We've been approached by the owner there a number of times over the last couple of years. I myself had a lengthy conversation with her about the outstanding balances. There was promises that payments were going to be made to get caught up in this account. As far back as May of 2024. My predecessors had made a couple of adjustments to try to help the property owner out with this. The only payment that was made to date on it was $13.06, and that was paid in May 2nd of 2024.
I see that.
Again, we've done multiple prior abatements trying to help out. The complaint from the owner is inability to pay and didn't want to lose property. Ongoing non-payment of the account balances. And for us as a department, it's too old to investigate, but there is a pattern of non-payment. Therefore, not justified in our view of abatement. 30 Pleasant Street is the funeral home. The leak began on July 15th of this year. The meter profile shows excessive usage on that ended in August 7th of this year. That property typically receives minimum bills for any area up until that point. The owner claims hydrant flushing by the town caused the high usage. That's simply not true. The water has to go through the meter in order to register for usage. The issue was raised only after the receipt of the high bill with no supporting documentation from them. Again, data clearly indicates a defined internal leak period, not of the town's responsibility. In all the cases, they reflect delayed action and lack of documentation by the property owners. We've made reasonable efforts to assist them, communication, meter access, guidance, and we just feel that the abatements here, are, at least from the department's point of view, are not warranted. Obviously, the board may see otherwise.
Well, I would like to ask for a motion to dismiss, because I don't think we should be giving abatements to anyone.
Well, I look like 35 Morris Avenue, they seem to be operating in good faith.
I'm sorry?
The request for 35 Morris Avenue, reading this, it seems to me they're operating in good faith.
I'm sorry?
You think 35 Morse Avenue is operating in good faith, John?
Yeah.
They've given $13.06.
They've only paid $13 towards their bill in the past year.
Yeah.
Since 2024.
Since 2020.
Yeah.
Right.
For 2 years, they haven't paid their bill.
We've had multiple conversations in the department with the property owner there, with all kinds of promises that the bills were going to be taken care of, we would have access, things like that, and nothing's come to fruition. No. And as I said, my predecessors had granted leniency along those lines, and still nothing.
Yeah, the last payment, John, was May 2nd, 2024.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only one that I thought had a glimmer of hope to get a variance, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly fine with those other two.
Mr. Chair, can I make the motion?
Yeah, motion deny.
Can I make the motion to deny the 5 abatements?
Yeah.
Stephen made a motion, Valerie seconded it. All in favor?
Aye. And thanks for this backup information to what Nicole had given us previously. It really tells the story.
Okay,
That sometimes we don't have access to, but it helps us make informed decisions.
The picture of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the current metering system that we have, if the outstanding owners will allow us to get meters in there, we can actually kind of keep an eye on things. We found a problem we thought was a big problem with Kansaki's large meters up there, and it ended up, and their metering system was telling us there was a problem, which was great. We were able to work together and find there was no actual problem. It was a data issue. It was able to clear up, but.
Good.
Yeah, we don't kind of, I appreciate you spreading all this and for us, so appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to old business, consideration of adopting the select board operating guidelines, operational guidelines. So we have before you, Nicole has done a nice job making this up. We even have a table of contents. Really did a nice job. If anyone has any questions, I know that we did have a special public meeting to go over this and discuss everything, and we did talk and go over anything that we needed to, change something. So I don't think we need to discuss much more. If that's the case.
One question?
Yes.
Because Stuart wasn't here when we did our meeting as the board. And Stuart, have you had a chance to look at this?
Sure.
And do you have any thoughts or concerns with anything that's in there?
No, I think you clarified the role of the executive assistant well, so.
Okay.
That was a previous concern.
So what I would like to have is a motion to adopt these, but before we make it official, we can sign that now, but just have the legal team take a review of it, just to make sure everything is good on their part. If there was anything that we have to take out or we have to adjust, then we can come back and actually sign that this is going into date after they approve it. How long would that take for the council to get back to us with?
It would be in time for your next packet.
Okay.
2 weeks, that's great.
Excellent. All right. So I look for a motion to approve these select board operational guidelines as they are and once they get approved by town council.
I would move we, as a board, approve the Town of Ware Select Board Operational Guidelines adopted May 19th, 2026, and send them to town council for review so that we can then sign them at our next meeting.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all very much for that. Now we move on to new business. We have open meeting law complaints. There's 3 filed against the select board by Cynthia Allen dated April 26, 2026 and May 6, 2026. Acknowledge receipt of complaint, review, discuss, response, and authorize submission of response by town council. The votes may be taken. So, has everybody looked at them?
I did.
Good.
Yes. Do we have any guidance from council?
Council is not, similar to 2 weeks ago, council is recommending that the board review, acknowledge, summarize in their acknowledgement of what they say, and then recommend that they be submitted to council, that you approve council to be able to reply to the Attorney General.
So, everyone has reviewed them. So we are acknowledging the complaint.
And just to correct my mistake, that there are 3, not 6.
Yep, I said 3.
Thank you.
So, but we are acknowledging it. We will look to, we have to have a vote for that, Stuart, to go out to council?
Yes, please.
All right, then we'll have a motion and then a second to send it out to KP Law.
And the town council may submit the response to the
Okay.
open meeting.
All right, John made the motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Stephen abstained. Okay. All right, select board roundtable discussion. I don't think we have much to talk about, other than Stuart, what do you got?
Just while Ms. Allen's here, in her submittal, she had mentioned, I believe, the possibility of mediation.
Mediation or just a resolution within 30 days.
Okay, I did ask town council to look into that.
Okay.
As well. So,
Ms. Allen, when you're saying mediation, what would you like to see mediated out of this?
Well, it's just simply working on the resolution, getting these things resolved.
okay. I understand. I thought you were saying that there's a process with the Attorney General or the open meeting people.
If it does not get resolved within the 30 days, then it gets logged and it wants a legal review. And then, at that point, they could package them together for a mediation.
Okay. So, I know that this is, you have complaints from prior select board meetings and not of current times. We will do our very best to work with you in these situations. I think that you are quite aware of the transparency and openness this board is going to have continuing moving forward. As I stated last week in my opening, that I am definitely looking to work with anybody and everybody that's willing to move the town forward and not back. Not saying that you're looking to go back, but on this part here, I'm really looking to try to get some type of a mediation resolution with you. And there's going to have to be a give and take on both sides. And with that being said, hopefully this will come to terms with our legal team and what they're gonna say, and we can get a better understanding. Do I agree with stuff wasn't posted and it's, yes, of course I do, you know, but I wanna make sure that we're just not gonna keep filing things over and over. It's a waste of town resources, but at the same time, I do understand why you're doing it. I'm not foolish to think that you're wrong. But I would like to work with you on this, making this a better thing, but also at the same time moving the town forward and giving you that trust, as I did state that it is the select board's responsibility, and I speak for all the members up here, to rebuild the trust of the public, and that's what I would plan on doing going forward. So we will send this out to council, and we will look for some type of mediation remedy, and hopefully that you'll be open to what council does say, and we can move forward from this and make things as best we can and suffice all.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if there's still pending records requests and things that are attached to that, that's still current, then we just ignore that, or?
We don't ignore anything, Mrs. Allen. We do.
Okay.
No, if they're still pending, we will fill that which we can. And not everything that you have requested are things that we can fill legally. And as we mentioned to you, we are working with KP Law to determine which can be released to you and which cannot. And that will continue to be true.
And there was
Go ahead.
the town, the select board seems to be challenging the determination that was made.
I would disagree with that,
Okay.
Cynthia, because
Yes.
as the process, as the letter from the Attorney General to the town stated, you have the right to request a hearing.
Yes,
We are requesting a hearing, pure and simple.
okay.
We're requesting a hearing. It's within our rights to do so. And we want to have the opportunity to state what we, working with council, and to present that, and to see what the ultimate result is. We're not challenging, we're taking advantage of our right to request a hearing so that we can be sure that the information we feel is pertinent was presented and was considered, and to see what the net result of that hearing is. So not challenging, not refusing, just as you're accessing your right as a citizen to the open meeting law complaint process, the town has rights under the process to be heard as well.
Okay. And you do realize that one of these complaints was about the KP Law response letter for the May 6th, where it did have false information in it.
But
Okay.
your complaints are often about corrections on things that the board has already approved
Okay.
and released, and approved again, and released again.
Okay.
So we recognize it's a complaint, but I don't know what the further resolution is if the board has already taken action twice.
And if I could, the second part, and I think this is where council comes in for us, is with due respect to what you're observing about statements that were made, responses by council to the historical commission to a question, and then commenting that was not the question that was asked, this was the question that was asked, thus council's response is inaccurate. I'm not sure those are,
That's not even open meeting law.
that I'm not, but yet it appears within the open meeting, you're using that format to raise the concern. You just acknowledge it's not within open meeting law, but yet it's causing us to invest time with council to be sure that we fully understand what in the several complaints you have issued do fall within the parameters of the open meeting law and do require a response. Some may not. Some may be beyond the purview, as you just acknowledged, something that you've included. So,
But part of that is,
but to your point, we are trying to understand what is our legal obligation on behalf of the town, and how can we participate in that process with the Attorney General. So just as, it's a process of discovery.
so meeting minutes, requests for certain things are on hold.
No, I don't believe that's what, I don't.
Because we don't know what KP law.
No, if I can, and I don't believe that's what Stuart responded, because I think you asked that question a few minutes ago, and I think Stuart said, all requests will be considered, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Stuart, but I believe you also said KP Law is reviewing the request to give guidance as to what we can legally share and what we cannot share. So to your comment, you guess all things are on hold. No, all things are not on hold. As Stuart responded, they are being looked at through our legal counsel, which is part of this process, to be sure that we're conforming and we're doing the right thing under that process.
So there's no decision on when I would get a reply or anything then?
Specific date, I don't have.
Okay. I just want to say, I do hope with this new board that some of these problems are going to get resolved, and that the transparency improves, and the appearance certainly of meetings going on and being undisclosed and not posted correctly. I just hope things get better.
Okay, I'm sorry. I really. 8 weeks ago, you sent us a list of executive summary sessions that were not properly posted. Nicole and I went through the list and responded to you with exactly what was in those executive sessions. And yet, now we have a complaint form about that exact same thing. So to imply that we're not answering is wrong.
I do acknowledge that I did get that, and that's when I saw that one of those meetings was on the cease and desist, and that's why I asked, but I get the
Excuse me, cease and desist by whose terminology?
There were resident requests to put a cease and desist on the activity going on at the Mary
Okay,
Lane
I just
site.
want to be sure, where
Yeah.
cease and desist, okay.
Yeah. And so there was a meeting, a board meeting, and now that so much time has passed, I was requesting to get copies of those meeting minutes.
That's not what this is.
Well, I'm not sure which one you're looking at.
Open meeting violation complaint, postings. This agenda is inaccurate.
I don't know.
There's, anyway, I don't want to go into it.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
your inference that our office is not responsive is not fully accurate. I understand we're late on some things or we're waiting on some things, but when we respond and then the answer is not something to people's liking, that's different than not responding.
You did respond, and then I questioned a particular meeting,
Yes. It's
and that's pending.
So I think we just have to let the process play out.
just like.
Okay.
I think, as you said 2 weeks ago, Cynthia, you wanted to go this route so it would be documented. Because we raised the question, wouldn't it be better to talk to the board and the town now to collaborate and to get together around the table and not to go with this process? And what you responded was, no, you wanted to go with this process so you could have it documented, and if things weren't resolved, you could then reopen the case, I think, if I remember the conversation correctly. So,
So we'll just
yep,
go that route.
yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, just one more thing. I just want to make it clear that this timing of these things happened, I think it was April 21st, when I learned that the town is now having a hearing for the old complaint on May 6th of last year, which means that carries on to the new board members. It didn't get resolved with the past administration, but now we have the new board, and so now it's carried forward.
Which is the
So when
responsibility of the
when-
select board, yes.
So when I looked at that, and I started looking at the end, I saw a bunch of different things, and then there's only 30 days from discovery to be able to make a complaint. So that's why I had done this, and you probably know that there's been a lot of times I brought things up to the boards where balls are dropped. We asked to have some kind of action item list, so things are
But-
followed up on, and so that's why I went this route, is because the following up on things, it just isn't happening. I do hope it gets better, but
We'll-
that's why I went
we'll-
this way.
We'll work through this process and
Okay.
see how much time and energy and resources it takes, and
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Town manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, hopefully people are aware, we posted, we had phone calls, the bridge work will continue through Thursday at 5, hopefully be done a little soon, but that's the plan.
that's a 3-mile bridge?
The 3-mile bridge will be closed. There is some weather contingency, although it has been mostly good. At the end of that time, the 2 lanes will be open. The project will not be done, but the 2 lanes will be open, which I think everyone will find a relief. We also received notice today that the second and third entrance, meaning the 2 entrances in Ware for the Quabbin Reservoir, are closed for their repaving of those roads. I do want to make you aware that at the next meeting, we will have an executive session on the Cureleaf court case. For those that know, they're suing the town for monies that the town collected under their previous host community agreement.
Is that why we got the Oxford decision in last week's packet?
In part, yes. But also in part, they have made a counter offer that the board needs to discuss in executive session.
Now, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
With that there, the counter offer, are we also going to know what the other towns, because there was multiple towns in
I
this?
would suggest that a council be there and she can explain that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ken.
So, just so I can get straight, we're gonna have an executive session to talk about litigation involving Cureleaf, they're suing us. The decision from the town of Oxford was kind of a context for our executive session discussion? Background information for us?
Background information.
And when you said they made a counter, was that in the Oxford case, or did Curaleaf make a counter to what's already taken place?
Curaleaf made a counter, based on that, our town attorney said the town wants to keep the discussion going. Curaleaf made a counter offer to the town, specific to the town of Ware.
Okay, based on this, based on Oxford?
No.
No, okay.
Oxford is just a background showing that that particular judge generally sided with Curaleaf.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
So just prepared. Memorial Day, Ware Remembers is Sunday evening at 6 at the Center Meeting House. And then Memorial Day Parade is at 1 o'clock, stepping off at that time from the American Legion on Maple Street and continuing to Veterans Park. If there is rain, which there looks 50-50, we will be prepared to move it into the Great Hall upstairs.
Oh, great. Good.
So, absent extreme weather, we should be able to go forward either way. First of the 250th celebration events is June 20th, chicken barbecue. Chicken, June 27th, thank you.
Just get the chicken in time, that's all.
Yeah, June 27th, at St. Mary's, put on by the Knights of Columbus, and as a fundraiser for the events of the summer for the 250th. Tickets can be purchased through Nicole in the town manager's office and are required ahead of time so that they know how many chickens to cook.
Do you have a price on the tickets?
20.
20. Okay.
$20 for a full meal.
And that's June 27th.
June 27th from 12 to 2 currently.
At where?
From 12 to 2 at St. Mary's.
Parish.
St. Mary's Parish. KFC chicken barbecue, $20.
Blanket, have a picnic with your family, enjoy it.
Picnic, okay.
Hopefully Western Mass News is listening and they're gonna put this onto their little
Community
TV
page.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, just almost some of this.
I'm throwing them a shout out.
Oh, the story, is that indoors or outdoors? I'm sorry. I never done that before.
We're hoping have to do both, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so in
Okay.
the parish and.
Sorry about that, it's never been
Nope.
done before.
That's the important question. And then, want a couple of HR items, did offer the position of highway superintendent to our current mechanic Fred Venn. That would start around June 1st. And the fire chief is moving forward with 2 hires to replace the 2 that left for Auburn. One is accepted and the other one just went out as a conditional offer.
Will they need academy training, these two?
These 2 will.
Okay.
And with the academy, will they have to stay with the town of Ware for so long?
Because it was away.
We don't have that condition until they're working on their paramedic, and then, yes. Because they get a stipend for being a paramedic and either have to pay and stay. It's an excellent question. And that, Mr. Chairman, is what I have.
Okay.
So on the HR question, how is Kim, our town accountant? Is she still recovering nicely? I know she was out of work for a bit.
Just phrasing this right. She is working remotely,
Okay,
part-time.
okay.
There is some assistance that we will have to do to fill some of that time, some of that skills.
Yeah, because we're getting to the end of the fiscal year,
Right.
where we're gonna have to close our books, which we know is a Herculean effort.
Right.
So just be sure we keeping that on our radar.
Yeah, the HR director has started that process.
And one question, in regards to the fireworks that we'll be doing in August.
August 1st.
Yep. Have we reserved a contractor to light them off? What is the we have? What are we looking to spend on this year's boom booms?
We've divided between the town and the Business and Civic Association. And we're at 15?
Yeah.
15,000.
Okay. How much was last year's?
I think 12.5, 11.5.
Okay.
Around 12.
Okay, just curious. All right.
And tax bills?
It's all fundraising donations.
Yeah.
That kind of work off of.
Okay, and everything with the 250th, that's helping, like the chicken barbecue.
That's for the 250th event. We have a week planned of events, and that's gonna help fund some of those events.
Okay.
Is like a max amount of tickets that can be sold, or?
For the chicken barbecue, there's only 250 tickets that we can sell.
Okay.
Because of the 250 years.
Stored tax bills? Have they gone out?
They have not gone out, but the issue has been resolved, so there's this
Hopefully
Friday.
Friday printed,
This-
Monday mailed.
That's right, Friday printed.
So will you give folks an advance notice through the remote call and Facebook posting and whatnot? Because the net result is they're gonna get a tax bill now, followed by one July 1, correct?
Yes.
Those 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
All right.
And weren't we talking about putting a mailing, letter in there explaining?
Letter of explaining, yes.
Yeah. And did we have to vote on that?
You did.
You did.
And we did. Okay.
All right.
One last thing, Stuart. Welcome back from vacation.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look rested.
It's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
See how long that lasts.
It's a long meeting. A long meeting for your first one back from vacation.
Yeah, it's actually a very good meeting, so good job.
All right. It is
9:15.
9:15. I'd look for a
Move
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ooh, done.